remember what episode we're on. What are we doing?
Oh, it's Alzheimer's. What they forget to tell you episode. Oh my gosh, I don't know. 50.
I want to say 54.
Really?
Or 55.
Really?
Maybe. That's what I'm going to say.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure though.
Okay.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy 2019.
We haven't done a podcast in a long time because of the holidays, and also because I had an emergency situation over the holidays.
Yeah.
Right.
And I thought it'd be good to talk about it because I think that it's something that a lot of caregivers have to really kind of be prepared for, right? Like that unpredictability during times where things are like hectic as it is, like the holidays, right? So even if you did have major, amazing plans, that wouldn't have happened. Why don't you share what the crisis was?
Well, my caregiver, who takes care of my mom, she had a medical emergency herself, so she couldn't come here for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. And because it was an emergency, it wasn't like you had a lot of notice.
Yeah, it was immediate. So, in that situation, it's not easy to find help on short notice, especially over the holidays.
Right.
So that's really kind of what I was doing over the break.
Right. And so, I mean, I think that that's something that's really important because it's not only that unpredictability of things, right? But you had to kind of train yourself to do stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I had to learn how to reposition my mom, and she's so fragile, so you have to make sure you're doing it properly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's something that, it's tough because it's not, as a job, I assume it's still probably not easy because you probably build relationships with people that you're looking after, but when it's your parent, it's even harder.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, that was a major thing this holiday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But you survived.
I survived.
And so did Mom.
Yeah, she's still surviving.
That's right.
She made another year, 2019. She got to see 2019.
Right. How are you feeling?
I know, it's just emotionally drained, I think. It's a long journey. Like every time, of course, it was 2000, so every year reflects another year, right? Mm-hmm. So it's 19 years and counting. And it's just, you prepare, it's almost like every day you prepare again.
Mm-hmm.
So the other day her blood pressure was extremely low, which it more or less is, and it's, that's not abnormal in her state.
Right.
But it's just like,
Yeah, constant.
I live tentatively, that's the thing. So I plan things on the go. Like I can't plan things in advance. Mm-hmm. So I just take,
Right.
It's unfortunate, but that's just the reality.
Right. Well, we're in 2019 now, so yes. I don't know what we're hoping for.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
either.
are you gonna stay hopeful about stuff?
Hi, Steve. I'm coming soon.
That's right.
Yeah.
She's coming soon. We're almost done. We said we're gonna be really.
It's
quick.
gonna be a short one, like 5 more minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how about you? How was your?
It was good. I mean, it was my first Christmas with no parents. But it's weird because it wasn't necessarily that different in terms of my routine. The only thing that was different was we skipped the trip to the nursing home.
Do you do that on Christmas Day?
Yeah, we usually do it on Christmas Day. Or sometimes Boxing Day, depending on how tired we are during the day. But we didn't have to go to the nursing home. And I visited them both at the cemetery. I think that was the hardest one. That was the hardest part, was just going there, because I think, it was the first time that they were both there. So that part was a little bit, yeah. But I have a lot of really good family, like my aunts and my uncles invited us over for, like, we go there every year anyway. But it was good that that stuff stayed the same, right?
Yeah, holidays are hard.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I think it was more for me. It was more like emotionally, because again, like physically, it's not like we spent a lot of time with my dad during Christmas, and
it's hard for me because that's their thing. That was their thing.
Yeah.
That was their big thing. But at least Jalen was home.
That's right.
So he got to help me reposition my mom.
That's right.
So it's good. It's good.
You spent a lot of time with him, which was great.
Now I miss home.
Of course you do.
No, like, well, yeah. I don't know.
You were gonna say yeah, well, no.
No, like
nothing.
No, I do. No, I miss him.
You totally hide something. But yeah, that's good though. At least you were able to spend time with him, and he didn't ignore you.
No, he did. We did. We've come to our thing where it's not that, like, we just like logistics. We like to be close, but not actually. We don't need to communicate.
Nice.
So just the presence.
That's good.
That's what we miss.
Right. Okay. And when's he coming back next?
February. He has a reading week. I don't know. Like, they get 2 reading weeks. It's like not fair.
So I was talking to my husband, your cousin. He swears that we had 2 reading weeks.
No, we didn't.
And I said no.
Well, I know I didn't.
I know we only had one in February because we had Christmas break in December. So we went September.
Yeah, we didn't get a what they had.
I think he's remembering things incorrectly.
Yeah, because our break was the Thanksgiving.
Right, which is like 4 days.
Right, that was it.
Right.
We
and
didn't
then
have
we had
one.
Christmas.
And then we always had one in February.
Yeah, the reading week was in February. But he's like, no, we had 2. And we've debated. And I'm sure that we can Google it, but I just don't have the energy to do it.
Okay.
But anyway, so he'll be back in February.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not far. That's like a few weeks from now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
See?
I'll probably, this is the thing, so I'll probably get over it. I'll get over it.
And then he'll show up with all his laundry.
Oh,
hello.
And then I'll remember why. It'll all come back to me like, oh, yeah, right. The piles of laundry.
That's right. I told you. Oh, and
but I liked doing his laundry. I did. I actually liked it. I'll admit it.
Okay, so I don't even know how to segue out of that one. We were also sick throughout the break, and so that was not fun. So it wasn't a great break. No, I mean it was great, but it was like, I don't know. It was a weird one.
I don't know. I just think when your loved one has Alzheimer's, I'm not going to talk about anything else, or any. I guess I think this probably would be universal for anybody who has a loved one that's ill. Holidays are extremely difficult because even though my mom's here, she's absent in terms of being able to participate in anything.
Right.
And it's always there, like, and so I know, like, even when it's her time, it will be hard as well, but at least I guess you could rest assured that she's not suffering, because there's another controversy which I didn't really want to talk about, but it is very controversial. So there's a lot of people who are living well, and I use that term loosely because I don't know how, that was not my experience with this disease.
Right.
But there's a lot of, because people are like, stop saying suffering from Alzheimer's. Some people say that, and I'm like, what else are you doing with Alzheimer's?
Right.
It's a neurological degenerative disease, and it's progressive, and there's no cure. So I don't understand how you live well with that disease. And maybe some people do, because I know, like, there's various forms, right? There's vascular, Lewy body, like, there's extremely different forms. However, I think when you have actually been right from the beginning with the diagnosis to, like with me, going completely towards the end, I don't see how you would have that mind frame. And people don't want to be, they're like, oh, and the stigma. It's stigmatized.
What do you mean by end the stigma?
See,
well, not what do you mean?
No,
what
like,
do they
okay,
mean?
so like I go to these conferences and I listen because, you know, there's people that actually have dementia, and there's people that maybe their parent or spouse or whatever had dementia, and now they're huge advocates. And then, you know, so we get into these heated debates because from what I've lived with for this almost 2 decades, it is not
living
you
well.
don't live well with this. And maybe the person at the beginning or in the early stages can live somewhat.
Right.
But, okay, when my mom was diagnosed, immediately she had to quit her job. She didn't get to retire as a registered nurse. She had to stop working.
Right.
Because that's the stigma. And it's not a stigma, it's a reality.
Right.
You cannot function, unfortunately, in your job, especially as a nurse,
right,
where you're reliant on your brain,
and there's other people's
lives at stake.
Yeah.
So okay, as sad as that was a necessary thing to do. Then on top of that, her driver's license was revoked immediately.
Right.
Because it's reported to the Ministry of Transportation. Was that unfortunate? Absolutely. Was it necessary? Absolutely.
Yep.
So yes. So if doctors are saying, look, you're a hazard to other people, basically that's what they're saying. They're not writing a prescription. You're a hazard, but they're inferring it. Like they're really inferring it. So, okay, if that's the case, I don't see how you live well
when you have no job and no way of
I have no job.
I
have no job. And now I'm completely reliant on someone else because there's someone else who's going to have to now take that place, either financially or like with with transportation and your now daily functions. So I don't know how well that's living.
But I know what you're saying because I don't agree with that. Like I don't know if they're referring to like quality of life or whatever. But
no, they're trying to say like, oh, stop like making it like you're suffering from this, and like they're trying to like change the vocabulary. But it's like, why not just be realistic about what it is? And you should be scared. Like I mean, like they're trying to take this thing isn't. There's no cure.
Right. Well, I don't know. I think language is so powerful, right? So like they're like even with like mental health, right?
So are you not suffering when you have a heart attack?
Can you let me finish?
Just like
What I'm saying is,
not too.
There was in mental health there was this movement about towards like removing labels for people. So a person is no longer schizophrenic. The person is a person with schizophrenia, right? Because it removes them, right? So, but the purpose, at least from my understanding, is that everybody's experience is going to be different. We can't have a universal term that is going to completely envelop everybody that has experienced whatever illness that we're talking about. So I don't like. I think that's where where a lot of the controversy works, because I think you're never going to get one term that everyone is going to agree with. Because I agree with you. There's going to be people whose experiences were different. Some people lived. I don't know what that means, and I'm air quoting like you, air quote.
What?
About living well, but what is there? I don't know. Maybe I don't know how they came up with that, but whoever did. Apparently has this idea.
Yeah, like there are people who have dementia and they're still functioning.
Right.
And that's great. I'm happy about that. I would know. But there's a flip side of it where you know where the progression's going to lead. This isn't like, I wonder what's going to happen. You know, it's staged. Right? So eventually, and of course, depending on what type of dementia you have, of course, because it affects different parts of the brain. But like, certain things are going to go first, and other things you might last longer. But at the end of the day, you are going to be fully dependent on somebody else.
Right.
That's the reality of it.
Right.
So yes, like maybe if I get Alzheimer's or dementia, or a type of dementia, I will be like, I don't want to be stigmatized. But the reality is, somebody has to know if I have it.
Of course.
Like, so I don't know. I just think I don't like the idea of romanticizing this disease. And I think we should just be aggressively talking about the realities of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't think we do.
Right.
And I don't know. I think, my personal opinion is that people should be scared. It should be raw.
Right.
It should be spoken about exactly what's going to happen. Like, I don't know if anyone could really imagine what I'm going through. And I can't even articulate it, that, like, I literally wake up every day and wonder if today my mom's going to die. And it's not like cancer where they can tell you, oh, you have 2 months. Or they can even, like, even to the last, hour, or, I have to hope, this is the sad part of it, I actually have to hope that my mom follows the exact progression of the disease where she stops swallowing. And to wrap your head around that, because really, the reality is she's starving to death.
Right, because
that's what happens, because I'm not putting a feeding tube. So, there's a do not resuscitate, there's not any life-saving measures. And I actually have to hope that happens. Like, that she doesn't just die, because she could have a stroke. She could have, there's a lot of things that could happen in this time. Like, my mom literally is skin and bone. I will never show her. I would never show an image of how she looks, because it's horrific. Mm-hmm. It really is. And it takes everything in me to spend time, but I do. I force myself to spend time with my mom, because I don't know if today will be her last day. But it's horrifying to watch. It's gut-wrenching. And I really don't know each time whenever I go if she's still breathing. Sometimes, like, her breathing is so shallow that, like, I think she's not breathing. Mm-hmm. And then, like, fortunately she might make a noise and I'm like, okay, she's still alive. Mm-hmm. But this has been going on for 3 years. It's not going on for 2 months. It's not going on for 2 weeks. It's not going on. She's been in palliative care for 3 years.
Right.
And so I don't know how to explain that to somebody, but that's what I'm going through.
Right. And it's suffering.
It is. And I'm suffering. And she might be suffering. I don't even know.
Right.
She can't even tell me if she's suffering or not.
Right.
I have no idea. I'm hoping she's not.
Yeah.
But I'm not, like, she can't articulate it. You try to look to see if you see facial features, but who knows if it's so far gone that she's unable to make facial features, right, or make noises to say that she's uncomfortable. Like, she's 50 pounds. If she's 50 pounds, she's a lot right now.
Right.
And, like, her legs are permanently crossed because that's what happens. Apparently, what people don't, when they want to romanticize and say that she's not suffering from Alzheimer's. Okay, well, I think she is. And, like, apparently the body, like, it's rigid. Her brain isn't even telling her body to relax. So she doesn't know how to relax her muscles. So she's completely, like, rigid. And apparently the body tries to go back to the fetal position. And it makes sense, because it's reverse aging. So, like, your brain is deteriorating. So it's shutting down. Different parts are shutting down.
Right.
And so, like, her body is starting to, like, curl. Yeah. And it's hard. I don't know. I don't know how that's not suffering.
And I really am. I'm trying to look at it from that perspective, like, from what the other perspective is, because I agree with you, like, seeing
they
them.
They haven't seen this. That's the part. Like,
no. But
I'm happy for them that their parent didn't, or their loved one didn't get to that point. Because, again, my mom's an anomaly. 19 years. It's the average is 7 to 10,
right?
Allegedly,
Yeah.
And of course, my mom has to beat every odd known.
Of course.
She's like, oh,
That's
is
good.
that the? Oh, let me call Guinness. Okay,
Right.
so, but this is my reality.
Right.
And so when it's good to that. Oh well, yeah, it's not suffering. Yeah, well, fortunately for you, your parent didn't suffer.
But you know what? If that's the case, then maybe they don't use if they don't want to use the word suffering, fine. But they can't also expect you not to use it if that's what you want to use as an adjective.
And no, but then there's lots of people, like I read a lot of information, clearly,
Right.
obviously, on Alzheimer's, and I stay up to date with the tweets and all of that. But it seems to be like this movement of, oh, you can live well and let's end the stigma. Like, what are you, great, wow, okay. Well, that's not my experience.
No.
And I don't think it's a reality experience, and I think we should be very, very clear about what this disease is, and this is what this disease is. There's nothing romantic about it, and there's nothing, you are suffering. There is no way I could wake up and not know where I am, not recognize my son, or, or or what I'm doing, or names. That I don't understand how that's not suffering. That would be suffering to me. Or if I can't read, I forgot how to read. And okay, right now my mom, I'm sure, is blind. There's no way she can see. So I don't think that's not suffering.
But okay, I think from the idea, and again, I'm not trying to start an argument.
You are trying to be adversarial.
I am, because I think it's important to look. But I guess the only I agree, and I'm starting this by saying I fully agree with you. Okay.
Don't try the sandwich.
The idea of
the sandwich.
I love the sandwich.
Positive
Okay,
feedback,
let me finish. So
then we're gonna
hear.
Now you're gonna
quit.
Now let's get to
I'm
it.
done.
Let's get to it. Let's get to it. Okay, go.
I quit.
Go.
No.
Criticize.
I'm not Holy Moses.
You wanna
No.
say?
Yes. The idea is okay. The reason why I'm saying it is, I would suffer. I think I would suffer. Right.
I'm
but
suffering.
that is on the basis that in that moment I'm cognizant enough to know that I am forgetting something, right? Now,
right.
Wait,
so
but wait, I'm thinking about say I'm just going based on my experience with my dad. I know physically he probably was suffering. He wasn't eating. He was, he was very, very frail. All of his bodily functions had started to shut down. He was not using the bathroom, he was in the diaper.
Right. That's dignified.
Right. But I feel like, and I don't know if I'm doing this to at least provide myself with some solace, I never saw him as being as cognizant as I am right now, knowing what he's missing.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, but I remember my mom in the early stages, like it could have been a year after, where, my father had already passed. And no, actually it was before my dad passed. And I said, Mom, I'm going to work. Here's all our birthdays, right? Mm-hmm. And I go, when I come home, because I didn't know you're not supposed to do that. Like, this is very, very beginning. So, and then I go, okay, when I come home, I'll just ask you when our birth dates are. And then when I got home, I can just see her struggling, and she kept pointing to her head. I just can't remember. And I'm like, who cares? Like, I didn't make a big deal. Like, we know when our birthdays are. You were there. You don't need to remember when they are. Who cares? But that was heartbreaking to me, where she was pointing to her head. This is a registered nurse who worked on the surgical ward. Like, can't remember our birthdays, and there's only 4 of us in our family.
No, I know.
Right.
I think she was sharper then, though, obviously.
Yeah, but
right?
then you can't tell me you're. Is she living well?
No.
Right, but that's what they're saying. Like,
right.
Just like, you're living well. Yeah, and she was still able to walk to her friend's house without getting lost at that time, because this was early stages. She was still able to go to the grocery store with a list and be right. But to me, she was not living well, and that was very, very early.
Mm-hmm.
At 57, she was not living well with Alzheimer's, and that was just at the diagnosis. So I don't know. That's going to be my thing. Maybe that will be my platform. I always say my platform is not even for the person with Alzheimer's, but it's for people like me who are watching this. Yeah. And I don't know how anyone who's caring for somebody with this disease can say that they're living well.
No.
Or that they're not suffering. that is suffering to me.
I think, and I also think my perception is different too, because my dad had the brain injury beforehand, so he was always this way.
And
so
well,
since I was 12.
and I think it's different too because of the setting. Like, he was always in a care facility.
No.
I mean, like, towards the end.
Towards the end,
Yeah.
yes.
And then, like, when you're watching it.
Right. But, like, I mean, but prior to that, right, he had, he had the brain injury that caused the confusion, right? He had the encephalitis. So there were times when I was...
But you're telling me he wasn't suffering?
Oh, no, he was so suffering.
Right.
But, like, you know, when I was 12, he went missing.
Right. So this is what I mean.
Yeah.
It's a brain injury. How can you not be suffering?
I don't... Why?
It's you. You were being
it's
the devil's advocate.
It's a conspiracy.
You were being the
yes,
devil's
I am.
advocate.
I am trying to be the devil's advocate, because not because I don't want to agree with you, because
I'm not
I actually
listening.
want to understand
I'm not listening to what you're saying.
Okay, you know what? This is suffering. You're making
me suffer.
You're making me suffer.
You're making my ears suffer.
I'm suffering.
I can't hear you. You're not here. I can't hear you either. Okay. All right. Anyways, we went way over the time as usual.
Steve, she's coming.
Yeah.
Very soon.
Okay, so we're gonna wrap this up. Wendy's returning next Thursday, and we're going to figure out, because I've been told that I need to do these more often, and so we're gonna figure out how we're going to do 2 a week.
I like how you're looking at me.
I'll figure it out. With the suffering and the unsuffering. I'll make you guys suffer and listen to 2 podcasts a week. That backfired. Okay.
Oh,
all right. Well, thanks for watching.
And Happy New Year again.
And if you have anything to talk about, if anyone has like a comment, what do they think about? Are you suffering
or living well?
Or you know, like everyone's so politically correct now. Like, you can't say this, you can't say that, you can't say this, you can't say that. I'm not into that. Let's just call it what it is. Okay? You are suffering from this thing, right?
Why are you asking?
Well, I'm suffering. I'll speak for myself. I am suffering from my mom's illness. I'm suffering.
Mm-hmm.
It's transference.
Okay, I agree.
That's real.
It is. So if you have an opinion, please share it with us, and don't be scared because this one's gonna be all like judgy.
I'm not judgy. This is just my opinion. I'm seeing it firsthand.
I'm pretty sure you pointed at me. Yeah.
Who would know?
That's judgy.
Who would know?
I understand this, but what I was trying to do was understand how other people or how they got to where they're thinking.
They're trying to make, as per usual, nobody wants to say how it is. It's always like, okay, let's soften the blow. I don't know how you soften the blow. When you say, okay, so do you think doctors go, you have, when they're
cancer?
giving you, when they're trying to give you a cancer diagnosis, do you think they go, you have something that could potentially maybe kind of kill you, but it might not. But you can live well with it. So, like, no, they say you have cancer and you have 6 months if you don't do this, that, and that. Right? Well, Alzheimer's, there's no such thing as you have Alzheimer's and if you don't do this and that, it's going to kill you.
Yes.
I wish I could say it wouldn't, but it is. And the worst is,
please share your opinion.
How long is it going to kill you?
And please trust that she will. If you can disagree with her if you would like, but this is what happens.
No, it's not. You can disagree.
I'm not disagreeing either. I even started. I prefaced by saying,
I wish it didn't kill you. I wish it didn't. I wish there was a cure.
We need to end this because I'm starting to feel unsafe.
Wait, there was one other thing before, because this could be the talking piece for next week. The controversy, which is why I kind of originally brought this up, besides the suffering and not suffering and living well, was because there's no cure and the only thing that they have right now are prescriptive drugs, which are Aricept or Reminol. That's the only thing that's available for Alzheimer's that allegedly, which it probably does because my mom was on it and your dad was on it.
It was not good.
Right, and it was bad side effects, but it slows down the progression of the disease. But is that a good thing? Maybe not.
Right.
That's the
Are we
controversy.
prolonging the
Why
inevitable?
Are we, yeah, and
Yeah.
and lengthening the suffering or the living,
well.
Right.
We're
Okay.
gonna totally rebrand this podcast one day to say what they forget about living well.
No, I'm telling you, this is called what they forget to tell you because they don't
About
tell you
living
this.
well.
About the whole thing, the conspiracy. No, I'm just joking. Okay, I'm getting carried away.
Okay.
Don't get me started.
Steve, I'm trying to end this.
Okay, I'm going. Bye.
Bye.